Everybody, it's 5:47, week 7. I have some kind of dramatic lighting going behind me. Do you see that back there? Um, it's just about sunset, so the blinds are casting me in a dramatic shadow. I wonder if I have like the light behind me. Is it going to put me in more of a shadow? Might. Anyway, it was really dramatic when I started. This whole side was no, this side. It's weird that it's not a mirror image. Um, but that's okay. QuickTime lets me record a movie on a laptop, so I will take it. Let's talk about week 7. Arts and movement is the theme. Habits of mind is the other topic this week. So, discussion board week 7, question 1 is habits of mind, and it's pretty straightforward. Select one of the habits of mind and give a specific example of how you can incorporate it into your teaching. You have an assignment due called the Arts and Movement Project. It's a big one. It's a lot of points, 50 points. It's creating a compelling position, probably through a presentation on why both the arts and movement need to be integrated into the school day, into the curriculum. Um, just take a look at that Google Doc. It walks you through all of the must do's, all of the cannot do's. Most notably, do not use PowerPoint or Keynote as part of the assignment. I would also encourage you to stay away from Prezi. Um, it's starting to feel pretty dated, so that shows up as an example. You're welcome to just sharing kind of my take on what I've seen in conferences. So if you're trying to learn something new or interesting, Google Slides is one that if you've not dug pretty deep into has a lot of possibilities, particularly once you start to add Google Drawings, embed YouTube videos. You can link anything to anything, so you can link to other slides, you can link to assignments if they're shared with anyone with a link can view. You can link to other documents, other websites, whatever. Um, I mean, the thing, if we take just a moment aside, is that everything in Google Drive, including Google Drive, is a web page, which means that a Google Doc is technically a website, right? We tend to look at Google Docs as word processor, and it behaves that way, right? But similarly with Google Slides, it's essentially a website, right? You have 6 slides, you have 6 pages of a website, and each one has its own URL. You can link to whatever, which is what websites are. They're just essentially fancy documents that link to other things. Um, yeah, so maybe kind of shifting around that. One other super cool trick that's probably going to blow your mind in Google Slides. If you go to File, Page Setup, I know you're not going to print it on a page. File, Page Setup, you can do a custom size. So if you want to make it feel more like an infographic, you can actually have each slide be pretty narrow and pretty tall. Um, yeah, it's actually so incredibly powerful that for our school, I've been trying to come up with a way to create templates. So like not in pages because it starts to get tricky to share that actual file inside of Google Drive, not in anything Office, just 'cause I'm not a big fan of the graphic design. We don't want to teach everyone InDesign, and so like, what are we going to do that's more than a Google Doc, but is a nice looking like brochure and these types of things that we as a school want to be able to share with teachers and not have them create from scratch. Because teachers have enough to worry about other than creating brochures and documents, and also things that just match our school style guide, right? So Google Slides is actually the answer. You go 11 inches wide, 8.5 inches tall, add some guides for the margins, guides for a trifold, and now that's a template that people can type in. You can move stuff wherever you want because it's a slide, and yet when you print it or save it as a PDF, it looks just like it's really well designed, fairly high end, like graphic design page layout software. Um, our template actually looks a lot like InDesign, and yet it's Google Slides. So a bit of a tangent on that one. So my recommendation kind of clearly is Google Slides. You're not going to get extra points or lose points for not picking it. But there's a lot going on in Google Slides these days. And the idea behind this is, yes, it's an assignment. Yes, you'll get points. Yes, you must do it to pass the course. But also, it's the type of thing that will likely come up in your career. So to be able to have a pretty compelling and visually engaging document is a good use of time, I think. Let's see. We looking ahead next week, week 8, you have your signature assignment, the brain compatible unit. Hopefully, you've been slowly building it over time. Just one clarification with that, as you work on the unit that you teach, and you're integrating these principles of best practices around how our brain works, basically, right? You're not going to write out lesson plans. So you're going to figure out what these brain compatible principles are, what the strategies are, and then add it to your unit. So please don't feel like you need to write out a whole unit's worth of lesson plans. That's not what this is. Again, the Google Doc has lots of great tips for you. I think that is it for week 7. There's a few articles that are great. The reading should be really straightforward. Depending on whichever book you have, you should be good to go. And that is week 7. Looking ahead just a tiny bit, week 8 always ends on a Friday because my grades are due Sunday at midnight. So that always gives your instructors just 48 hours to grade everything and follow up if there's anything wrong and submit everything. So yeah, just make sure that you're prepared and have everything graded by, not graded, submitted. Your teachers will do your own grading. Your final thing submitted week 8 on a Friday. That's when everything ends. So hopefully you've enjoyed this dramatic lighting. It feels very, I don't know. But happy week 7, everybody.